En Eva Joly hérna hjá okkur og það spurðist út núna í vikunni að hún væri að hætta á Íslandi, hætta þessari ráðgjöf sem hún hefur veitt sérstökum saksóknara. Hún að fara beinlínis í forsetaframboð í Frakklandi, auk þess sem hún situr á Evrópuþinginu og mjög upptekin þar. Welcome, Eva Joly.
Thank you for that.
Well, this is not the first time we've been here.
No.
We did this interview, 1.5 years ago,
yes.
which led to you becoming the advisor to the special prosecutor.
Absolutely.
But now you are leaving, and I think people in Iceland are saddened by this, and I think that many people actually feel quite shocked, because for them you have been a sort of a guarantee that things were done in good faith and with maximum trust.
Yes, but I think it's also easy to understand that this contract was set up for a certain time, and it has come nearly to an end, and also because my life is going on, and I do not have time anymore to come to Iceland for 4 days a month, because I have huge projects in France. But what I can say is that now we have a very beautiful instrument here to do the inquiry. It is set up. They are now 60 people. They will be 90 by the end of the year. They are young. They are very energetic, very eager to do this investigation. And I'm very confident that this collective intelligence will cope with the problem.
So you have faith in the body you have put up in Iceland?
Yes, I have. And I think that there are still huge challenges, but I think they will cope with it, and also that they will continue the cooperation they have obtained already from the other Nordic countries, from the UK, from Luxembourg, and I know that they will seek cooperation also with other countries abroad. And I wanted to say that I will always be there for them, and that we will do things together. And I think also that I will find another person to guide them further.
So they can call you?
They can call me.
Yes.
They have my mail address, and I'm really there for them. It's not a joke.
How is this? Could you explain to me how this is structured? The office of the investigator.
Yes. You remember when we talked together the first time?
Yes.
There were 3 people in a very small premises.
Yeah.
And today then they are 60. They are divided, and we have 3 new prosecutors that are heading the investigation. There is 1 prosecutor for each bank, and there are between 15 and 16 people making the inquiry into each bank. And then you also have some horizontal work being done. So I think this is very good. And we are paying attention to the fact that it should be a balance in the cases between the banks and the cases that are brought to court. So I think this is very, very well done. And I should wish your camera came to show to the public how beautifully, how very well they are installed in their premises,
yes.
And also to see these young, beautiful, eager people.
So there's energy there.
Yes,
and,
it's a lot
passion.
of energy.
Yeah.
And this is really, we should thank the special prosecutor for having had the intelligence to set up the team this way.
I know you haven't always agreed with Ólafur.
No, we do not agree the whole time, but this is normal. And we still have tensions sometimes because we do not share exactly the same way of saying things. But they are underway, and I think that today they are able to cope with this investigation. And I also wanted to say that what you have done here in Iceland is unique. This inquiry is not being done anywhere else. I think the problem is exactly the same in the UK or in the US or in Germany.
Yes.
But they are not looking into their banks. They are not looking for the responsibility. People are getting away with their ill-earned money.
So you think that we are doing this in exemplary fashion?
Yes, and I think, you know, especially in this country, so hardly stricken by the crisis, and it cost so much to so many, to have dedicated the means to this inquiry and to set up a team of this strength, meaning really that there is political will to do the work. They are the same number here in Iceland today as the Brigade Financière in Paris.
Okay. Are the investigation, are they working with foreigners, with people you have brought into the...
And also the very good news is that the foreign experts that I brought with me, the Norwegian Helge Berg and the French Jean-Michel Matt, they are now delivering their expertise. And this is wonderful basis for the rest of the work to be done.
But people feel that this is getting a bit long-winded. There are no... when will we see some results, prosecutions, convictions? And you said it in the beginning that people would get impatient and that even they would lose faith sometime during the process.
Yes, exactly. And this is really the difficulty between the legitimate suffering and ask and request for justice of the public opinion and the legal time needed, because inquiries are slow. It takes time, and we are dependent on getting documentation from Luxembourg or the UK, and we do not master that. You see, in the Kaupting case, we are waiting for these documents to go further.
From Luxembourg?
And from England.
And you're not getting the information you want?
Well, they are working on it, but well, they have their proceedings, and we do not master them. And this is the same all over the world. In the Elf case, I waited 3 or 4 years to get documentation from Switzerland.
But will there be instances where you will not get the information you want?
That could be also, but that is not the case here, because we have seen the documentation, we are only waiting for it to be sent over. It will come, but what I want to communicate is that it takes time, and you must trust your own good young people working on this case.
So even if this takes time, and even if the newspapers get impatient and the bloggers get impatient, we have to...
you have to realize that this must be done by the book, and that you cannot move quicker than the music. And it takes time, and the media time is not the same time as the legal time in an inquiry. But results will come. There are one case in court, that is the Bir case today, and you have noticed that the court did allow a 3-month delay to the defense. So I think it's also important for the public to understand that this is independent of the prosecution. And maybe also it should be a reflection on, is it normal to give a 3-month delay for one paper? I mean, maybe this could be done a little quicker. Because we cannot have that each request from the defense will generate 3 more months of delay.
But of course they will try to, and this is the normal, we saw that in the Böks affair, which you, one often reflects on that.
Yes, I know it very well.
And one often see that the culprits, they will try to stall at every instance in the system.
And then they will become very ill. That is also normal.
Or as in New York, they will lose their knowledge of English.
Yes, so something will happen to them.
But so you think this will also be the case?
Their game is to earn time. Because they are counting upon the impatience of the public opinion. So what is important now is to support this team. It is more important for you than the football. It should have the same support. And it is important that they will have continuous funding.
And one of instance in the Bir case, the Exeter case, is that it might be invalid because of you.
Well, I think that is a very bad argument, but normal that the defense lawyer put it forward. But why should it be invalid? I mean, I'm an expert, I have a contract, there is legal provisions in the law on the special prosecutor allowing him to have experts, so I think there is not a problem, and I'm confident that the court will not rule that way.
Do you still think there was criminality involved in the fall of the banks, in what they were doing, the banks, and in the fall of the banks?
I know it.
You know it?
Yes.
Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, if I did that, then the defense lawyer would say that, I would jeopardize the investigation.
Yes.
But I think, it's like when you see a body with a knife in the back.
Yes.
You can say here it has been a murder without saying anything about who did it. And today we can say that here we have had a lot of economic criminality, that is sure, and we are investigating it to put names behind every action.
So the investigation has not changed your view on this?
No,
You have not,
it has reinforced my first knowledge, and so I think that the Icelandic people can be confident that each and everybody will be responsible for what they have done, and they will be tried for it.
But we also have to think about the judges, the judicial system, which is, I think, everybody basically agrees that it's very weak in Iceland in many ways. There are not too many judges, and the courts seem to be overwhelmed.
Yes.
And we saw from the Bauer case that the courts really
didn't understand.
And this is something you talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sure that we cannot take care only of the prosecution and the inquiry. This is the first stage. We need also to take care of the court system, and we need the judges to be numerous enough, and maybe also you should think about setting up specialized chambers to deal with economic crimes, because some judges are allergic to figures, and they should not be allowed to judge these cases.
Yes.
So there should be some skill, some economic skill among the judges that will have these cases.
Yes.
So I think the ministry will work on that. So the whole chain up to the Supreme Court should be able to cope with these cases.
Yes. No, well, we saw in the Bauer case that it was really the courts were almost incapable of handling that.
Well, but I think that things have changed dramatically since then. And my theory is that judges are not living in out of society.
No.
They are part of it. And I think that there is no will to understand. And I think at the time of the Berger case, the head of the banks were heroes, and they didn't feel like convicting. Today, maybe this sentiment has changed, and this is part of the game.
But to come back to you, I think that many people will tend to lose confidence in what is going on when you are leaving, because you have been a figure of. I don't want to flatter you too much, but you have become a figure of moral authority in Iceland in a period where we lack people who have moral authority.
Well, I'm happy that I have been able to contribute to people having confidence in the system, but I think that they should see that today it is built up, and they should trust their own people. I mean, these 60 young energetic Icelandic lawyers and investigators that are there, they are ding of confidence, and they still have the experts, they still have foreigners, and I think, in a way, I do believe that they could carry it out alone today. But I think it is important because of your society and this very close link that I see every day between the institutions.
Yes.
And for the public trust, it is important to have the foreign regard with you.
Yes.
So I will recommend to Ólafur and to you and to the others maybe to still work with maybe foreign experts, foreign technical experts.